Chapter 2 Essential Stage Verbs
動詞
Proceed Proceed straight ahead
まっすぐ前に進む
Proceed straight ahead Proceed straight ahead
Ensure. Ensure the safety of drivers.
ドライバーの安全を確保する
Ensure the safety of drivers. Ensure the safety of drivers.
Interpret Interpret the meaning of the word
その言葉の意味を解釈する
Interpret the meaning of the word Interpret the meaning of the word
Cease. The Soviet Union ceased to exist.
ソ連は存在しなくなった
The Soviet Union ceased to exist. The Soviet Union ceased to exist.
Spoil Spoil the party
パーティーを台無しにする
Spoil the party Spoil the party
Obey. Obey the law.
法に従う
Obey the law. Obey the law.
Eliminate Eliminate nuclear weapons
核兵器をなくす
Eliminate nuclear weapons Eliminate nuclear weapons
Resist. Resist pressure from the U.S.
アメリカの圧力に抵抗する
Resist pressure from the U.S. Resist pressure from the U.S.
Accompany Accompany the president
大統領に同伴する
Accompany the president Accompany the president
Weigh. Weigh 65 kilograms.
65キロの重さがある
Weigh 65 kilograms. Weigh 65 kilograms.
Pursue Pursue the American dream
アメリカンドリームを追い求める
Pursue the American dream Pursue the American dream
Demonstrate. Demonstrate that it is impossible.
それが不可能なことを示す
Demonstrate that it is impossible. Demonstrate that it is impossible.
Amuse Amuse students with jokes
冗談で学生を笑わせる
Amuse students with jokes Amuse students with jokes
Ruin. Ruin his life.
彼の人生を破滅させる
Ruin his life. Ruin his life.
Regret Regret leaving home
家を出たのを後悔する
Regret leaving home Regret leaving home
Attach. A bookcase attached to the wall.
壁に取り付けられた本棚
A bookcase attached to the wall. A bookcase attached to the wall.
Reverse Reverse the position
立場を逆転する
Reverse the position Reverse the position
Restrict. Restrict freedom of speech.
言論の自由を制限する
Restrict freedom of speech. Restrict freedom of speech.
Compose The body is composed of cells
体は細胞で構成されている
The body is composed of cells The body is composed of cells
Capture. Capture wild animals.
野生動物を捕らえる
Capture wild animals. Capture wild animals.
Substitute Substitute margarine for butter
マーガリンをバターの代わりに用いる
Substitute margarine for butter Substitute margarine for butter
Trace. Trace human history.
人類の歴史をたどる
Trace human history. Trace human history.
Interrupt Interrupt their conversation
彼らの会話を邪魔する
Interrupt their conversation Interrupt their conversation
Confront. Confront a difficult problem.
困難な問題に立ち向かう
Confront a difficult problem. Confront a difficult problem.
Illustrate This example illustrates his ability.
この例が彼の能力を示す
This example illustrates his ability. This example illustrates his ability.
Arrest. Arrest him for speeding.
スピード違反で彼を逮捕する
Arrest him for speeding. Arrest him for speeding.
Stimulate Stimulate the imagination.
想像力を刺激する
Stimulate the imagination. Stimulate the imagination.
Assure. Assure you that you will win.
君が勝つことを保証する
Assure you that you will win. Assure you that you will win.
Consult Consult a doctor for advice.
医者に相談して助言を求める。
Consult a doctor for advice. Consult a doctor for advice.
Depress. Feel too depressed to go out.
憂鬱で出かける気がしない。
Feel too depressed to go out. Feel too depressed to go out.
Crash. Crash into the wall.
壁に激突する。
Crash into the wall. Crash into the wall.
Inspire. Inspire him to write a poem.
彼に詩を書く気を起こさせる。
Inspire him to write a poem. Inspire him to write a poem.
Specialize. Specialize in Chinese history.
中国史を専攻する。
Specialize in Chinese history. Specialize in Chinese history.
Cultivate. Cultivate friendships.
友情を育てる。
Cultivate friendships. Cultivate friendships.
Fulfill. Fulfill the promise.
約束を果たす。
Fulfill the promise. Fulfill the promise.
Transmit. Transmit messages.
メッセージを伝える。
Transmit messages. Transmit messages.
Found. Found a computer company.
コンピューター会社を設立する。
Found a computer company. Found a computer company.
Cheer. Cheer up the patients.
患者たちを元気づける。
Cheer up the patients. Cheer up the patients.
Burst. Burst into tears.
急に泣き出す。
Burst into tears. Burst into tears.
Bow. Bow to the queen.
女王様にお辞儀する。
Bow to the queen. Bow to the queen.
Dismiss. Dismiss the idea as nonsense.
その考えを馬鹿らしいと無視する。
Dismiss the idea as nonsense. Dismiss the idea as nonsense.
Breed. How to breed animals.
動物を繁殖させる方法。
How to breed animals. How to breed animals.
Prohibit. Prohibit children from smoking.
子供がタバコを吸うのを禁じる。
Prohibit children from smoking. Prohibit children from smoking.
Oblige. Be obliged to pay taxes.
税金を払わざるを得ない。
Be obliged to pay taxes. Be obliged to pay taxes.
Qualify. Qualify for the position.
その地位に適任である。
Qualify for the position. Qualify for the position.
Invest. Invest money in a business.
ビジネスにお金を投資する。
Invest money in a business. Invest money in a business.
Grasp. Grasp what he is saying.
彼の言うことを理解する。
Grasp what he is saying. Grasp what he is saying.
Collapse. The Soviet Union collapsed.
ソビエト連邦が崩壊した。
The Soviet Union collapsed. The Soviet Union collapsed.
Overlook. Overlook the fact.
事実を見逃す。
Overlook the fact. Overlook the fact.
Accuse. Accuse him of being cold.
彼を冷たいと非難する。
Accuse him of being cold. Accuse him of being cold.
Frustrate. Be frustrated by the lack of money.
金がなくて欲求不満になる。
Be frustrated by the lack of money. Be frustrated by the lack of money.
Deprive. Deprive him of the chance.
彼からチャンスを奪う。
Deprive him of the chance. Deprive him of the chance.
Astonish. An astonishing memory.
驚異的な記憶力。
An astonishing memory. An astonishing memory.
Register. Register a new car.
新車を登録する。
Register a new car. Register a new car.
Correspond. The fact corresponds to my theory.
その事実は私の理論と一致する。
The fact corresponds to my theory. The fact corresponds to my theory.
Cast. Cast a shadow on the wall.
壁に影を投げかける。
Cast a shadow on the wall. Cast a shadow on the wall.
Attribute. His success is attributed to luck.
彼の成功は幸運のせいだとされる。
His success is attributed to luck. His success is attributed to luck.
Freeze. Freeze to death.
凍えて死ぬ。
Freeze to death. Freeze to death.
Starve. Starve to death.
飢え死にする。
Starve to death. Starve to death.
Resolve. Resolve the problem.
問題を解決する。
Resolve the problem. Resolve the problem.
Embrace. Embrace a new idea.
新しい考えを受け入れる。
Embrace a new idea. Embrace a new idea.
Exhibit. Exhibit Picasso's works.
ピカソの作品を展示する。
Exhibit Picasso's works. Exhibit Picasso's works.
Convert. Convert sunlight into electricity.
太陽の光を電気に転換する。
Convert sunlight into electricity. Convert sunlight into electricity.
Scare. The noise scares him.
その音が彼を怯えさせる。
The noise scares him. The noise scares him.
Constitute. Cars constitute 10% of exports.
車が輸出の 10% を占める。
Cars constitute 10% of exports. Cars constitute 10% of exports.
Appoint. Be appointed to an important post.
重要なポストに任命される。
Be appointed to an important post. Be appointed to an important post.
Sew. Sew a wedding dress.
ウェディングドレスを縫う。
Sew a wedding dress. Sew a wedding dress.
Assign. Assign work to each member.
各メンバーに仕事を割り当てる。
Assign work to each member. Assign work to each member.
Nod. Nod and say yes.
うなずいてはいと言う。
Nod and say yes. Nod and say yes.
Elect. Be elected president.
大統領に選ばれる。
Be elected president. Be elected president.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge the fact.
事実を認める。
Acknowledge the fact. Acknowledge the fact.
Rob. Rob the bank of $50,000.
銀行から5万ドル奪う。
Rob the bank of $50,000. Rob the bank of $50,000.
Lean. Lean against the wall.
壁にもたれる。
Lean against the wall. Lean against the wall.
Undertake. Undertake the work.
仕事を引き受ける。
Undertake the work. Undertake the work.
Drown. Save a drowning child.
溺れている子供を救う。
Save a drowning child. Save a drowning child.
Split. Split into two groups.
2つのグループに分裂する。
Split into two groups. Split into two groups.
Resort. Resort to violence.
暴力に訴える。
Resort to violence. Resort to violence.
Descend. Descend to the ground.
地面に降りる。
Descend to the ground. Descend to the ground.
Irritate. Irritating noise.
イライラさせる騒音。
Irritating noise. Irritating noise.
Pronounce. Pronounce the word correctly.
正確にその語を発音する。
Pronounce the word correctly. Pronounce the word correctly.
Equip. Cars equipped with airbags.
エアバッグを装備した車。
Cars equipped with airbags. Cars equipped with airbags.
Cheat. Don't cheat on your taxes.
税金をごまかすな。
Don't cheat on your taxes. Don't cheat on your taxes.
Decorate. Trees decorated with lights.
電球で飾られた木々。
Trees decorated with lights. Trees decorated with lights.
Pardon. Pardon me.
ごめんなさい。
Pardon me. Pardon me.
Heal. Time heals all wounds.
時はすべての傷を癒す。
Time heals all wounds. Time heals all wounds.
Forgive. Forgive him for being late.
彼の遅刻を許す。
Forgive him for being late. Forgive him for being late.
Envy. Envy the rich.
金持ちを羨む。
Envy the rich. Envy the rich.
Chase. Chase the car.
その車を追跡する。
Chase the car. Chase the car.
Prompt. Prompt him to speak.
彼に話をするよう促す。
Prompt him to speak. Prompt him to speak.
Withdraw. Withdraw my hand.
手を引っ込める。
Withdraw my hand. Withdraw my hand.
Detect. How to detect lies.
嘘を発見する方法。
How to detect lies. How to detect lies.
Interfere. Interfere with his work.
彼の仕事を邪魔する。
Interfere with his work. Interfere with his work.
Launch. Launch a space shuttle.
スペースシャトルを発射する。
Launch a space shuttle. Launch a space shuttle.
Endanger. Endangered species.
絶滅の危機にある種。
Endangered species. Endangered species.
Foster. Foster creativity.
創造性を養う。
Foster creativity. Foster creativity.
Diminish. His power diminished.
彼の力は衰えた。
His power diminished. His power diminished.
Spill. Spill coffee on the keyboard.
キーボードにコーヒーをこぼす。
Spill coffee on the keyboard. Spill coffee on the keyboard.
Infect. Be infected with the virus.
ウイルスに感染している。
Be infected with the virus. Be infected with the virus.
Stem. Stem from an ancient tradition.
古い伝統に由来する。
Stem from an ancient tradition. Stem from an ancient tradition.
Tap. Tap her on the shoulder.
彼女の肩を軽く叩く。
Tap her on the shoulder. Tap her on the shoulder.
Bet. I bet you'll win.
きっと君は勝つと思う。
I bet you'll win. I bet you'll win.
Declare. Declare independence from Britain.
イギリスからの独立を宣言する。
Declare independence from Britain. Declare independence from Britain.
Alter. Alter the pattern of behavior.
行動パターンを変える。
Alter the pattern of behavior. Alter the pattern of behavior.
Retire. Retire from work at 60.
60で仕事を辞める。
Retire from work at 60. Retire from work at 60.
Transform. Transform food into energy.
食べ物をエネルギーに変える。
Transform food into energy. Transform food into energy.
Defeat. Defeat the champion.
チャンピオンを打ち負かす。
Defeat the champion. Defeat the champion.
Investigate. Investigate the cause of her death.
彼女の死因を調査する。
Investigate the cause of her death. Investigate the cause of her death.
Pretend. Pretend to be asleep.
眠っているふりをする。
Pretend to be asleep. Pretend to be asleep.
Annoy. The noise annoys me.
その音が私を苛立たせる。
The noise annoys me. The noise annoys me.
Deserve. Deserve to be punished.
罰を受けて当然だ。
Deserve to be punished. Deserve to be punished.
Bury. Bury the dead body.
死体を埋める。
Bury the dead body. Bury the dead body.
Cope. Cope with problems.
問題にうまく対処する。
Cope with problems. Cope with problems.
Pour. Pour wine into the glass.
グラスにワインを注ぐ。
Pour wine into the glass. Pour wine into the glass.
Score. Score 10 goals.
10点を取る。
Score 10 goals. Score 10 goals.
Accomplish. Accomplish the difficult task.
困難な仕事をやり遂げる。
Accomplish the difficult task. Accomplish the difficult task.
Hesitate. Don't hesitate to ask questions.
質問するのをためらうな。
Don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions.
Endure. Endure great pain.
ひどい苦痛に耐える。
Endure great pain. Endure great pain.
Translate. Translate a novel into English.
小説を英語に翻訳する。
Translate a novel into English. Translate a novel into English.
Guarantee. Guarantee your success.
君の成功を保証する。
Guarantee your success. Guarantee your success.
Dominate. Dominate the world economy.
世界経済を支配する。
Dominate the world economy. Dominate the world economy.
Confirm. Confirm Darwin's theory.
ダーウィンの理論を裏付ける。
Confirm Darwin's theory. Confirm Darwin's theory.
Greet. Greet people with a smile.
笑顔で人に挨拶する。
Greet people with a smile. Greet people with a smile.
Entertain. Entertain the audience.
観客を楽しませる。
Entertain the audience. Entertain the audience.
Defend. Defend ourselves against attack.
攻撃から自分たちを守る。
Defend ourselves against attack. Defend ourselves against attack.
Forbid. Forbid him to go out.
彼の外出を禁じる。
Forbid him to go out. Forbid him to go out.
Broadcast. Broadcast the concert live.
生でコンサートを放送する。
Broadcast the concert live. Broadcast the concert live.
Sacrifice. Sacrifice everything for love.
愛のためすべてを犠牲にする。
Sacrifice everything for love. Sacrifice everything for love.
Punish. Punish him for the crime.
その罪で彼を罰する。
Punish him for the crime. Punish him for the crime.
Glance. Glance at the clock.
時計をちらりと見る。
Glance at the clock. Glance at the clock.
Retain. Retain the world title.
世界タイトルを保持する。
Retain the world title. Retain the world title.
Calculate. Calculate the cost.
コストを計算する。
Calculate the cost. Calculate the cost.
Sink. Leave a sinking ship.
沈む船から逃げる。
Leave a sinking ship. Leave a sinking ship.
Rescue. Rescue a man from a fire.
火事で人を救助する。
Rescue a man from a fire. Rescue a man from a fire.
Beg. Beg him to come back.
彼に帰ってきてとこう。
Beg him to come back. Beg him to come back.
Apologize. Apologize to him for being late.
遅れたことを彼に謝る。
Apologize to him for being late. Apologize to him for being late.
Deceive. It is easy to deceive people.
人を騙すのは簡単だ。
It is easy to deceive people. It is easy to deceive people.
Convey. Convey a message on the internet.
インターネットでメッセージを伝える。
Convey a message on the internet. Convey a message on the internet.
Sustain. Energy to sustain life.
生命を維持するためのエネルギー。
Energy to sustain life. Energy to sustain life.
Float. A body floating in the river.
川に浮かぶ死体。
A body floating in the river. A body floating in the river.
Vanish. Vanish from sight.
視界から消える。
Vanish from sight. Vanish from sight.
Fade. Memories of the war fade away.
戦争の記憶が薄れる。
Memories of the war fade away. Memories of the war fade away.
Regulate. Regulate traffic.
交通を規制する。
Regulate traffic. Regulate traffic.
Distribute. Distribute food equally.
平等に食料を分配する。
Distribute food equally. Distribute food equally.
Enhance. Enhance the quality of life.
生活の質を向上させる。
Enhance the quality of life. Enhance the quality of life.
Chat. Chat with friends.
友達とおしゃべりする。
Chat with friends. Chat with friends.
Exceed. Demand exceeds supply.
需要が供給を超える。
Demand exceeds supply. Demand exceeds supply.
Wipe. Wipe the table.
テーブルを拭く。
Wipe the table. Wipe the table.
Cooperate. Cooperate with each other.
お互いに協力する。
Cooperate with each other. Cooperate with each other.
Inherit. Inherit genes from our parents.
親から遺伝子を受け継ぐ。
Inherit genes from our parents. Inherit genes from our parents.
Restore. Restore the old building.
古い建物を修復する。
Restore the old building. Restore the old building.
Unite. Unite the Arab world.
アラブ世界を団結させる。
Unite the Arab world. Unite the Arab world.
Leap. Look before you leap.
飛ぶ前によく見よ。
Look before you leap. Look before you leap.
Exaggerate. Exaggerate the size of the fish.
魚の大きさを誇張する。
Exaggerate the size of the fish. Exaggerate the size of the fish.
Conquer. Conquer the world.
世界を征服する。
Conquer the world. Conquer the world.
Melt. The snow will melt soon.
雪は間もなく溶けるだろ
The snow will melt soon. The snow will melt soon.
Invade. Invade Poland.
う。ポーランドに侵入する。
Invade Poland. Invade Poland.
Modify. Modify the plan.
計画を修正する。
Modify the plan. Modify the plan.
Scatter. Scatter toys on the floor.
床におもちゃをばらまく。
Scatter toys on the floor. Scatter toys on the floor.
Undergo. Undergo great changes.
大きな変化を経験する。
Undergo great changes. Undergo great changes.
Evaluate. Evaluate the student's ability.
学生の能力を評価する。
Evaluate the student's ability. Evaluate the student's ability.
Bend. Bend down to pick up the can.
缶を拾おうと身をかがめる。
Bend down to pick up the can. Bend down to pick up the can.
Assist. Assist in my father's business.
父の仕事を手伝う。
Assist in my father's business. Assist in my father's business.
Scream. A girl screaming for help.
助けを求め悲鳴を上げる少女。
A girl screaming for help. A girl screaming for help.
Gaze. Gaze at the stars.
星を見つめる。
Gaze at the stars. Gaze at the stars.
Rub. Rub the skin with a towel.
タオルで肌をこする。
Rub the skin with a towel. Rub the skin with a towel.
Polish. Polish the shoes.
靴を磨く。
Polish the shoes. Polish the shoes.
Classify. Classify man as an animal.
人間を動物として分類する。
Classify man as an animal. Classify man as an animal.
Assert. Assert that it is impossible.
それは不可能だと主張する。
Assert that it is impossible. Assert that it is impossible.
Grab. Grab the cat by the tail.
猫の尻尾をつかむ。
Grab the cat by the tail. Grab the cat by the tail.
Fold. Fold a piece of paper.
紙を折りたたむ。
Fold a piece of paper. Fold a piece of paper.
Sweep. Sweep the floor.
床を掃く。
Sweep the floor. Sweep the floor.
Whisper. Whisper in her ear.
彼女の耳にささやく。
Whisper in her ear. Whisper in her ear.
Imitate. Imitate human behavior.
人間の行動を真似る。
Imitate human behavior. Imitate human behavior. Nouns.
名詞。
Proportion. The proportion of boys to girls.
男子と女子の比率。
The proportion of boys to girls. The proportion of boys to girls.
Contract. Sign a contract with Google.
Google との契約にサインする。
Sign a contract with Google. Sign a contract with Google.
Appointment. Make an appointment with the doctor.
医者に予約する。
Make an appointment with the doctor. Make an appointment with the doctor.
Treasure. Discover treasure.
財宝を発見する。
Discover treasure. Discover treasure.
Stock. The Tokyo stock market.
東京株式市場。
The Tokyo stock market. The Tokyo stock market.
Facility. Public facilities.
公共施設。
Public facilities. Public facilities.
Sum. A large sum of money.
多額のお金。
A large sum of money. A large sum of money.
Rank. A man of high rank.
高い地位の人。
A man of high rank. A man of high rank.
Democracy. A modern democracy.
近代民主国家。
A modern democracy. A modern democracy.
Emergency. An emergency room.
救急治療室。
An emergency room. An emergency room.
Protest. A protest against the Vietnam War.
ベトナム戦争に対する抗議。
A protest against the Vietnam War. A protest against the Vietnam War.
Track. The tracks of a lion.
ライオンの足跡。
The tracks of a lion. The tracks of a lion.
Vehicle. A vehicle for communication.
意思伝達の手段。
A vehicle for communication. A vehicle for communication.
Routine. A healthy daily routine.
健康的ないつもの日課。
A healthy daily routine. A healthy daily routine.
Stuff. Write really good stuff.
本当に良いものを書く。
Write really good stuff. Write really good stuff.
Row. Sit in the front row.
最前列に座る。
Sit in the front row. Sit in the front row.
Wheel. A water wheel.
水車。
A water wheel. A water wheel.
Dawn. At the dawn of the 21st century.
21世紀の夜明けに。
At the dawn of the 21st century. At the dawn of the 21st century.
Welfare. Social welfare.
社会福祉。
Social welfare. Social welfare.
Perspective. See life from a new perspective.
新しい見方で人生を考える。
See life from a new perspective. See life from a new perspective.
Enthusiasm. His enthusiasm for soccer.
彼のサッカーに対する情熱。
His enthusiasm for soccer. His enthusiasm for soccer.
Faith. Blind faith in technology.
技術への盲目的信頼。
Blind faith in technology. Blind faith in technology.
Occupation. A well-paid occupation.
給料の良い職業。
A well-paid occupation. A well-paid occupation.
Witness. A witness to the accident.
事故の目撃者。
A witness to the accident. A witness to the accident.
Kingdom. The Kingdom of Denmark.
デンマーク王国。
The Kingdom of Denmark. The Kingdom of Denmark.
Equivalent. There's no English equivalent to haiku.
俳句に相当するものは英語にない。
There's no English equivalent to haiku. There's no English equivalent to haiku.
Objective. Achieve the objective.
目標を達成する。
Achieve the objective. Achieve the objective.
Pile. Put the plates in a pile.
皿を積み重ねておく。
Put the plates in a pile. Put the plates in a pile.
Shelter. Find shelter from the cold.
寒さから逃れる場所を見つける。
Find shelter from the cold. Find shelter from the cold.
Trial. Trial and error.
試行錯誤。
Trial and error. Trial and error.
Honor. It's a great honor to work here.
ここで働けるのは大変名誉です。
It's a great honor to work here. It's a great honor to work here.
Territory. Defend a territory.
縄張りを守る。
Defend a territory. Defend a territory.
Frame. A window frame.
窓枠。
A window frame. A window frame.
Border. Cross the Russian border.
ロシア国境を越える。
Cross the Russian border. Cross the Russian border.
Statistics. According to official statistics.
公式の統計によると。
According to official statistics. According to official statistics.
Enterprise. A private enterprise.
民間企業。
A private enterprise. A private enterprise.
Fee. Pay school fees.
授業料を払う。
Pay school fees. Pay school fees.
Load. Carry a heavy load.
重い荷物を運ぶ。
Carry a heavy load. Carry a heavy load.
Grain. World grain production.
世界の穀物生産高。
World grain production. World grain production.
Review. A review of the law.
その法律の再検討。
A review of the law. A review of the law.
Prejudice. Prejudice against women.
女性に対する偏見。
Prejudice against women. Prejudice against women.
Strain. Put a strain on the heart.
心臓に負担をかける。
Put a strain on the heart. Put a strain on the heart.
Trap. Fall into a trap.
罠にはまる。
Fall into a trap. Fall into a trap.
Temper. Have a quick temper.
すぐカッとなる気性である。
Have a quick temper. Have a quick temper.
Slave. A black slave.
黒人の奴隷。
A black slave. A black slave.
Wound. A knife wound.
ナイフの傷。
A knife wound. A knife wound.
Divorce. An increase in the divorce rate.
離婚率の増加。
An increase in the divorce rate. An increase in the divorce rate.
Tune. The melody of the tune.
その曲のメロディー。
The melody of the tune. The melody of the tune.
Height. Summer is at its height.
夏真っ盛りだ。
Summer is at its height. Summer is at its height.
Faculty. The science faculty.
理学部。
The science faculty. The science faculty.
Span. The average lifespan.
平均寿命。
The average lifespan. The average lifespan.
Dimension. The moral dimension of science.
科学の道徳的側面。
The moral dimension of science. The moral dimension of science.
Worship. The worship of God.
神に対する崇拝。
The worship of God. The worship of God.
Version. The latest version of the software.
そのソフトの最新版。
The latest version of the software. The latest version of the software.
Parallel. Have no parallel in history.
歴史上匹敵するものがない。
Have no parallel in history. Have no parallel in history.
Horizon. Sink below the horizon.
地平線の下に沈む。
Sink below the horizon. Sink below the horizon.
Acquaintance. Friends and acquaintances.
友人と知人。
Friends and acquaintances. Friends and acquaintances.
Burden. Become a burden on society.
社会の重荷になる。
Become a burden on society. Become a burden on society.
Jam. Avoid traffic jams.
交通渋滞を避ける。
Avoid traffic jams. Avoid traffic jams.
Poison. Poison gas.
毒ガス。
Poison gas. Poison gas.
Constitution. The Japanese Constitution.
日本国憲法。
The Japanese Constitution. The Japanese Constitution.
Administration. Business administration.
企業の経営。
Business administration. Business administration.
Charm. A city full of charm.
魅力にあふれた都市。
A city full of charm. A city full of charm.
Organ. Sense organs.
感覚器官。
Sense organs. Sense organs.
Prey. The prey of the lion.
ライオンの餌食。
The prey of the lion. The prey of the lion.
Venture. A joint venture with Taiwan.
台湾との共同事業。
A joint venture with Taiwan. A joint venture with Taiwan.
Mission. Carry out a dangerous mission.
危険な任務を果たす。
Carry out a dangerous mission. Carry out a dangerous mission.
Inquiry. Inquiry into the cause of the fire.
火事の原因に関する調査。
Inquiry into the cause of the fire. Inquiry into the cause of the fire.
Award. The Academy Award for Best Picture.
アカデミー最優秀作品賞。
The Academy Award for Best Picture. The Academy Award for Best Picture.
Strip. A long strip of paper.
長い紙切れ。
A long strip of paper. A long strip of paper.
Distress. Be in economic distress.
経済的苦難に陥る。
Be in economic distress. Be in economic distress.
Circulation. Increase blood circulation.
血液の循環を高める。
Increase blood circulation. Increase blood circulation.
Shade. Keep the beer in the shade.
ビールを日陰に置く。
Keep the beer in the shade. Keep the beer in the shade.
Stereotype. A stereotype of Americans.
アメリカ人に関する型にはまったイメージ。
A stereotype of Americans. A stereotype of Americans.
Client. A lawyer and his client.
弁護士とその依頼人。
A lawyer and his client. A lawyer and his client.
Output. The factory's output.
その工場の生産高。
The factory's output. The factory's output.
Lord. Praise the Lord.
神を称える。
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Convention. Follow social conventions.
社会の慣習に従う。
Follow social conventions. Follow social conventions.
Mine. Discover a gold mine.
金鉱を発見する。
Discover a gold mine. Discover a gold mine.
Craft. A traditional Japanese craft.
日本の伝統工芸。
A traditional Japanese craft. A traditional Japanese craft.
Core. The core of the problem.
問題の核心。
The core of the problem. The core of the problem.
Stroke. Die of a stroke.
脳卒中で死ぬ。
Die of a stroke. Die of a stroke.
Frontier. America's last frontier.
アメリカ最後の辺境。
America's last frontier. America's last frontier.
Peer. Set him apart from his peers.
彼を仲間から離す。
Set him apart from his peers. Set him apart from his peers.
Vessel. A fishing vessel.
漁船。
A fishing vessel. A fishing vessel.
Disability. People with disabilities.
障害を持つ人々。
People with disabilities. People with disabilities.
Gravity. Zero gravity in space.
宇宙の無重力状態。
Zero gravity in space. Zero gravity in space.
Ethic. A question of medical ethics.
医学の倫理の問題。
A question of medical ethics. A question of medical ethics.
Terminal. A railroad terminal.
鉄道の終点。
A railroad terminal. A railroad terminal.
Tide. Swim against the tide.
潮流に逆らって泳ぐ。
Swim against the tide. Swim against the tide.
Abuse. Child abuse.
児童虐待。
Child abuse. Child abuse.
Disc 3. Chapter 2. Essential Stage. Incident. The small incidents of everyday life.
日常生活の小さな出来事。
The small incidents of everyday life. The small incidents of everyday life.
Laboratory. A space science laboratory.
宇宙科学研究所。
A space science laboratory. A space science laboratory.
Conference. An international conference.
国際会議。
An international conference. An international conference.
Continent. Cross the American continent.
アメリカ大陸を横断する。
Cross the American continent. Cross the American continent.
Insurance. National health insurance.
国民健康保険。
National health insurance. National health insurance.
Site. A construction site for a new hotel.
新しいホテルの建設用地。
A construction site for a new hotel. A construction site for a new hotel.
Poverty. Live in poverty.
貧乏な生活をする。
Live in poverty. Live in poverty.
Shortage. Food shortage.
食料不足。
Food shortage. Food shortage.
Affair. International affairs.
国際情勢。
International affairs. International affairs.
Exception. The only exception to the rule.
その規則の唯一の例外。
The only exception to the rule. The only exception to the rule.
Wage. Work for low wages.
安い賃金で働く。
Work for low wages. Work for low wages.
Wisdom. knowledge and wisdom,
知識と知恵。
knowledge and wisdom, knowledge and wisdom.
Tax. Pay taxes on the land.
その土地にかかる税金を払う。
Pay taxes on the land. Pay taxes on the land.
Leisure. Have no leisure time for sports.
スポーツをする暇がない。
Have no leisure time for sports. Have no leisure time for sports.
Barrier. The language barrier.
言葉の壁。
The language barrier. The language barrier.
Category. Fall into the same category.
同じ範疇に属する。
Fall into the same category. Fall into the same category.
Unit. The family as a social unit.
社会の単位としての家族。
The family as a social unit. The family as a social unit.
Reputation. The restaurant's reputation.
そのレストランの評判。
The restaurant's reputation. The restaurant's reputation.
Virtue. The virtue of hard work.
勤勉の美徳。
The virtue of hard work. The virtue of hard work.
Courage. Have the courage to tell the truth.
真実を話す勇気を持つ。
Have the courage to tell the truth. Have the courage to tell the truth.
Sympathy. Feel sympathy for the victim.
犠牲者に同情する。
Feel sympathy for the victim. Feel sympathy for the victim.
Union. A labor union.
労働組合。
A labor union. A labor union.
Document. Sign important documents.
重要書類にサインする。
Sign important documents. Sign important documents.
Volume. A 10,000 volume library.
蔵書1万冊の図書館。
A 10,000 volume library. A 10,000 volume library.
Ceremony. A religious ceremony.
宗教的儀式。
A religious ceremony. A religious ceremony.
Era. The beginning of a new era.
新しい時代の始まり。
The beginning of a new era. The beginning of a new era.
Dispute. Settle international disputes.
国際紛争を解決する。
Settle international disputes. Settle international disputes.
Campaign. The campaign to plant 1 million trees.
100万本の木を植える運動。
The campaign to plant 1 million trees. The campaign to plant 1 million trees.
Mankind. The history of mankind.
人類の歴史。
The history of mankind. The history of mankind.
Murder. Mass murder.
大量殺人。
Mass murder. Mass murder.
Landscape. Landscape painting.
風景画。
Landscape painting. Landscape painting.
Destination. Reach the final destination.
最終目的地に着く。
Reach the final destination. Reach the final destination.
Tale. Tell a fairy tale.
おとぎ話をする。
Tell a fairy tale. Tell a fairy tale.
Reform. Political reform.
政治改革。
Political reform. Political reform.
Muscle. Muscles and bones.
筋肉と骨。
Muscles and bones. Muscles and bones.
Prospect. Future prospects.
将来の見通し。
Future prospects. Future prospects.
Corporation. Run a large corporation.
大企業を経営する。
Run a large corporation. Run a large corporation.
Colony. A former British colony.
元イギリスの植民地。
A former British colony. A former British colony.
Quarrel. A quarrel with my wife.
妻との口論。
A quarrel with my wife. A quarrel with my wife.
Profession. An intellectual profession.
知的職業。
An intellectual profession. An intellectual profession.
Fever. Have a high fever.
高熱を出している。
Have a high fever. Have a high fever.
Pause. A 3-minute pause.
3分間の休止。
A 3-minute pause. A 3-minute pause.
Furniture. A room with little furniture.
家具の少ない部屋。
A room with little furniture. A room with little furniture.
Privilege. White privilege.
白人の特権。
White privilege. White privilege.
Prosperity. Economic prosperity.
経済的繁栄。
Economic prosperity. Economic prosperity.
Genius. A musical genius.
音楽の天才。
A musical genius. A musical genius.
Seed. Plant pumpkin seeds.
かぼちゃの種をまく。
Plant pumpkin seeds. Plant pumpkin seeds.
Symptom. Symptoms of cancer.
がんの症状。
Symptoms of cancer. Symptoms of cancer.
Merit. His greatest merit.
彼の最大の長所。
His greatest merit. His greatest merit.
Layer. Destroy the ozone layer.
オゾン層を破壊する。
Destroy the ozone layer. Destroy the ozone layer.
Clue. A clue to the mystery.
その謎を解く手がかり。
A clue to the mystery. A clue to the mystery.
Fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction.
事実は小説よりも奇なり。
Truth is stranger than fiction. Truth is stranger than fiction.
District. The city's business district.
その都市の商業地区。
The city's business district. The city's business district.
Prison. Spend 2 years in prison.
刑務所で2年過ごす。
Spend 2 years in prison. Spend 2 years in prison.
Companion. My traveling companion.
私の旅行仲間。
My traveling companion. My traveling companion.
Executive. Tobacco company executives.
タバコ会社の重役たち。
Tobacco company executives. Tobacco company executives.
Justice. A strong sense of justice.
強い正義感。
A strong sense of justice. A strong sense of justice.
Procedure. The check-in procedure.
チェックインの手続き。
The check-in procedure. The check-in procedure.
Ray. The sun's rays.
太陽光線。
The sun's rays. The sun's rays.
Heaven. Go to heaven.
天国に昇る。
Go to heaven. Go to heaven.
Luxury. Lead a life of luxury.
贅沢な生活を送る。
Lead a life of luxury. Lead a life of luxury.
Oxygen. Oxygen in the air.
空気中の酸素。
Oxygen in the air. Oxygen in the air.
Fund. Lack of funds.
資金不足。
Lack of funds. Lack of funds.
Theme. The theme of the book.
その本の主題。
The theme of the book. The theme of the book.
Boundary. The boundary between two countries.
二国間の境界。
The boundary between two countries. The boundary between two countries.
Ambition. His ambition to be a writer.
作家になりたいという彼の熱望。
His ambition to be a writer. His ambition to be a writer.
Forecast. The weather forecast.
天気予報。
The weather forecast. The weather forecast.
Psychology. Study social psychology.
社会心理学を研究する。
Study social psychology. Study social psychology.
Charity. Give money to charity.
慈善のために寄付する。
Give money to charity. Give money to charity.
Committee. The International Olympic Committee.
国際オリンピック委員会。
The International Olympic Committee. The International Olympic Committee.
Physician. A physician at the hospital.
その病院の医者。
A physician at the hospital. A physician at the hospital.
Shelf. Take a book from the shelf.
棚から本を取る。
Take a book from the shelf. Take a book from the shelf.
Affection. A deep affection for animals.
動物への深い愛情。
A deep affection for animals. A deep affection for animals.
Candidate. A candidate for president.
大統領候補。
A candidate for president. A candidate for president.
Bomb. An atomic bomb.
原子爆弾。
An atomic bomb. An atomic bomb.
Priority. Give top priority to safety.
安全を最優先する。
Give top priority to safety. Give top priority to safety.
Obstacle. An obstacle to communication.
コミュニケーションの障害。
An obstacle to communication. An obstacle to communication.
Appetite. Have no appetite.
食欲がない。
Have no appetite. Have no appetite.
Tension. Relieve tension.
緊張を緩和する。
Relieve tension. Relieve tension.
Tribe. A Native American tribe.
アメリカ先住民の部族。
A Native American tribe. A Native American tribe.
Budget. Cut the defense budget.
防衛予算を削減する。
Cut the defense budget. Cut the defense budget.
Temple. An ancient Greek temple.
古代ギリシャの神殿。
An ancient Greek temple. An ancient Greek temple.
Sorrow. Joy and sorrow.
喜びと悲しみ。
Joy and sorrow. Joy and sorrow.
Satellite. A communication satellite.
通信衛星。
A communication satellite. A communication satellite.
Insight. A deep insight into life.
人生に対する深い洞察。
A deep insight into life. A deep insight into life.
Cough. Have a bad cough.
ひどい咳が出る。
Have a bad cough. Have a bad cough.
Fate. Decide your fate.
君の運命を決定する。
Decide your fate. Decide your fate.
Scheme. A training scheme for pilots.
パイロットの訓練計画。
A training scheme for pilots. A training scheme for pilots.
Insult. An insult to women.
女性に対する侮辱。
An insult to women. An insult to women.
Inhabitant. The inhabitants of the country.
その国の住民。
The inhabitants of the country. The inhabitants of the country.
Fossil. Burn fossil fuels.
化石燃料を燃やす。
Burn fossil fuels. Burn fossil fuels.
Motive. The motive for the killing.
殺しの動機。
The motive for the killing. The motive for the killing.
Instinct. Human instinct to fight.
人間の闘争本能。
Human instinct to fight. Human instinct to fight.
Legend. The legend of Robin Hood.
ロビン・フッドの伝説。
The legend of Robin Hood. The legend of Robin Hood.
Empire. The Roman Empire.
ローマ帝国。
The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire.
Suburb. Live in the suburbs of London.
ロンドンの郊外に住む。
Live in the suburbs of London. Live in the suburbs of London.
Architecture. Study modern architecture.
近代建築を学ぶ。
Study modern architecture. Study modern architecture.
Passion. Love and passion.
愛と情熱。
Love and passion. Love and passion.
Horror. A horror movie.
恐怖映画。
A horror movie. A horror movie.
Logic. Persuade him with logic.
彼を論理で説得する。
Persuade him with logic. Persuade him with logic.
Dozen. 2 dozen eggs.
2ダースの卵。
2 dozen eggs. 2 dozen eggs.
Harvest. A good harvest of rice.
米の豊かな収穫。
A good harvest of rice. A good harvest of rice.
Ingredient. The ingredients of the cake.
ケーキの材料。
The ingredients of the cake. The ingredients of the cake.
Hypothesis. Test the hypothesis.
仮説を検証する。
Test the hypothesis. Test the hypothesis.
Voyage. The first voyage of Columbus.
コロンブスの最初の航海。
The first voyage of Columbus. The first voyage of Columbus.
Editor. The editor of a fashion magazine.
ファッション雑誌の編集長。
The editor of a fashion magazine. The editor of a fashion magazine.
Option. Have no option.
選択の自由がない。
Have no option. Have no option.
Hemisphere. The southern hemisphere.
南半球。
The southern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere.
Mechanism. The mechanism of a clock.
時計の仕組み。
The mechanism of a clock. The mechanism of a clock.
Anthropologist. Anthropologists study people.
人類学者は人間を研究する。
Anthropologists study people. Anthropologists study people.
Crew. The crew of the space shuttle.
スペースシャトルの乗組員たち。
The crew of the space shuttle. The crew of the space shuttle.
Tragedy. Greek tragedy.
ギリシャ悲劇。
Greek tragedy. Greek tragedy.
Refrigerator. Put the meat in the refrigerator.
肉を冷蔵庫に入れる。
Put the meat in the refrigerator. Put the meat in the refrigerator.
Fare. Pay the bus fare.
バスの運賃を払う。
Pay the bus fare. Pay the bus fare.
Debt. Pay the debt.
借金を返す。
Pay the debt. Pay the debt.
Curriculum. The high school curriculum.
高校の教育課程。
The high school curriculum. The high school curriculum.
Component. The components of the body.
人体の構成要素。
The components of the body. The components of the body.
Wheat. Plant wheat and corn.
小麦とコーンを植える。
Plant wheat and corn. Plant wheat and corn.
Usage. Modern English usage.
現代英語の語法。
Modern English usage. Modern English usage.
Garbage. Take out the garbage.
ゴミを出す。
Take out the garbage. Take out the garbage.
Famine. A terrible famine in Africa.
アフリカのひどい飢饉。
A terrible famine in Africa. A terrible famine in Africa.
Extinction. Animals in danger of extinction.
絶滅の危機にある動物たち。
Animals in danger of extinction. Animals in danger of extinction.
Purse. Take money out of the purse.
財布からお金を取り出す。
Take money out of the purse. Take money out of the purse.
Folk. English folk music.
イギリスの民族音楽。
English folk music. English folk music.
Explosion. The population explosion.
人口爆発。
The population explosion. The population explosion.
Portion. A large portion of your salary.
給料の大部分。
A large portion of your salary. A large portion of your salary.
Organism. Marine organisms.
海洋生物。
Marine organisms. Marine organisms.
Merchant. The Merchant of Venice.
ベニスの商人。
The Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice.
Myth. Ancient Greek myths.
古代ギリシャの神話。
Ancient Greek myths. Ancient Greek myths.
Priest. A priest in the church.
教会の神父。
A priest in the church. A priest in the church.
Funeral. Weddings and funerals.
結婚式と葬式。
Weddings and funerals. Weddings and funerals.
Wildlife. Protect wildlife.
野生生物を保護する。
Protect wildlife. Protect wildlife.
Congress. The United States Congress.
合衆国議会。
The United States Congress. The United States Congress.
Bay. A boat in Tokyo Bay.
東京湾に浮かぶ船。
A boat in Tokyo Bay. A boat in Tokyo Bay.
Penalty. The death penalty.
死刑。
The death penalty. The death penalty.
Heritage. Japanese cultural heritage.
日本の文化遺産。
Japanese cultural heritage. Japanese cultural heritage.
Diversity. American cultural diversity.
アメリカの文化的多様性。
American cultural diversity. American cultural diversity.
Thumb. The thumb of my left hand.
私の左手の親指。
The thumb of my left hand. The thumb of my left hand.
Geography. History and geography.
歴史と地理。
History and geography. History and geography.
Envelope. Put the letter in a pink envelope.
ピンクの封筒に手紙を入れる。
Put the letter in a pink envelope. Put the letter in a pink envelope.
Discrimination. Discrimination against women.
女性に対する差別。
Discrimination against women. Discrimination against women.
Virus. The AIDS virus.
エイズのウイルス。
The AIDS virus. The AIDS virus.
Statue. The Statue of Liberty.
自由の女神像。
The Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty.
Athlete. A professional athlete.
プロの運動選手。
A professional athlete. A professional athlete.
Pioneer. A rock and roll pioneer.
ロックンロールの先駆者。
A rock and roll pioneer. A rock and roll pioneer.
Trait. Personality traits.
人格の特徴。
Personality traits. Personality traits.
Bond. Strong family bonds.
家族の強い絆。
Strong family bonds. Strong family bonds.
Grocery. Go to the grocery store.
食料品店に行く。
Go to the grocery store. Go to the grocery store.
Secretary. His secretary's desk.
彼の秘書の机。
His secretary's desk. His secretary's desk.
Dialect. Speak the local dialect.
地元の方言を話す。
Speak the local dialect. Speak the local dialect.
Astronomy. Galileo's astronomy.
ガリレオの天文学。
Galileo's astronomy. Galileo's astronomy.
Youngster. Today's youngsters.
今日の子供たち。
Today's youngsters. Today's youngsters.
Yard. A tree in the yard.
庭の木。
A tree in the yard. A tree in the yard.
Finding. The findings of the study.
その研究による発見。
The findings of the study. The findings of the study.
Strategy. British military strategy.
イギリスの軍事戦略。
British military strategy. British military strategy.
Lung. His heart and lungs.
彼の心臓と肺。
His heart and lungs. His heart and lungs.
Opponent. Beat an opponent.
敵を倒す。
Beat an opponent. Beat an opponent.
Ritual. A religious ritual.
宗教的な儀式。
A religious ritual. A religious ritual.
Outcome. The outcome of the race.
レースの結果。
The outcome of the race. The outcome of the race.
Conservation. Conservation groups.
環境保護団体。
Conservation groups. Conservation groups.
Mammal. Whales and other sea mammals.
クジラなどの海の哺乳類。
Whales and other sea mammals. Whales and other sea mammals.
Telescope. NASA's Space Telescope.
NASA の宇宙望遠鏡。
NASA's Space Telescope. NASA's Space Telescope.
Refugee. Refugee camps in Palestine.
パレスチナの難民キャンプ。
Refugee camps in Palestine. Refugee camps in Palestine.
Code. Break the dress code.
服装規則を破る。
Break the dress code. Break the dress code.
Flavor. The flavor of fresh fruit.
新鮮なフルーツの風味。
The flavor of fresh fruit. The flavor of fresh fruit.
Particle. The particles of light.
光の粒子。
The particles of light. The particles of light.
Nursing. 24-hour nursing.
24時間看護。
24-hour nursing. 24-hour nursing.
Suicide. Commit suicide by hanging.
首吊り自殺をする。
Commit suicide by hanging. Commit suicide by hanging.
Habitat. The natural habitat of bears.
熊の自然生息地。
The natural habitat of bears. The natural habitat of bears.
Bullying. Bullying in schools.
学校のいじめ。
Bullying in schools. Bullying in schools.
Dinosaur. Dinosaurs died out.
恐竜は絶滅した。
Dinosaurs died out. Dinosaurs died out.
Council. The New York City Council.
ニューヨーク市議会。
The New York City Council. The New York City Council.
Gender. Age and gender.
年齢と性別。
Age and gender. Age and gender.
Surgery. Have open heart surgery.
心臓切開手術を受ける。
Have open heart surgery. Have open heart surgery.
Innovation. Technological innovation.
技術革新。
Technological innovation. Technological innovation.
Protein. High protein food.
高タンパク質の食べ物。
High protein food. High protein food.
Nutrition. Enough sleep and nutrition.
十分な睡眠と栄養。
Enough sleep and nutrition. Enough sleep and nutrition.
Web. Be caught in a spider's web.
蜘蛛の巣にかかる。
Be caught in a spider's web. Be caught in a spider's web.
Emission. Reduce carbon dioxide emissions.
二酸化炭素の排出を減らす。
Reduce carbon dioxide emissions. Reduce carbon dioxide emissions.
Ape. Monkeys and apes.
猿と類人猿。
Monkeys and apes. Monkeys and apes.
Molecule. A single DNA molecule.
一つの DNA 分子。
A single DNA molecule. A single DNA molecule.
Sweat. The smell of sweat.
汗の匂い。
The smell of sweat. The smell of sweat.
Transplant. A heart transplant operation.
心臓移植の手術。
A heart transplant operation. A heart transplant operation.
Castle. A sandcastle.
砂の城。
A sandcastle. A sandcastle.
Cartoon. A popular cartoon character.
人気漫画のキャラクター。
A popular cartoon character. A popular cartoon character.
Tip. The tip of my finger.
私の指の先。
The tip of my finger. The tip of my finger.
Cattle. Raise sheep and cattle.
羊と牛を育てる。
Raise sheep and cattle. Raise sheep and cattle.
Density. High population density.
高い人口密度。
High population density. High population density.
Adjectives and adverbs.
形容詞、副詞。
Guilty. Feel guilty about leaving him.
彼を捨てたことに罪の意識を感じる。
Feel guilty about leaving him. Feel guilty about leaving him.
Vital. Play a vital role.
重要な役割を果たす。
Play a vital role. Play a vital role.
Rough. A rough sketch.
大雑把なスケッチ。
A rough sketch. A rough sketch.
Contemporary. Contemporary Japanese society.
現代の日本社会。
Contemporary Japanese society. Contemporary Japanese society.
Annual. His annual income.
彼の年収。
His annual income. His annual income.
Accustomed. Become accustomed to driving.
車の運転に慣れる。
Become accustomed to driving. Become accustomed to driving.
Steady. Steady economic growth.
着実な経済成長。
Steady economic growth. Steady economic growth.
Dull. Very dull work.
とても退屈な仕事。
Very dull work. Very dull work.
Keen. A keen eye for art.
芸術に対する鋭い目。
A keen eye for art. A keen eye for art.
Loose. Wear loose clothes.
ゆったりとした服を着る。
Wear loose clothes. Wear loose clothes.
Delicate. The delicate balance of nature.
自然界の微妙なバランス。
The delicate balance of nature. The delicate balance of nature.
Internal. Internal medicine.
内科。
Internal medicine. Internal medicine.
Casual. Wear casual clothes.
気楽な服装をする。
Wear casual clothes. Wear casual clothes.
Mature. Mature adults.
成熟した大人。
Mature adults. Mature adults.
Concrete. Give a concrete example.
具体的な例を挙げる。
Give a concrete example. Give a concrete example.
Awful. How awful.
なんてひどい。
How awful. How awful.
Senior. A senior member of the club.
クラブの先輩の部員。
A senior member of the club. A senior member of the club.
Overall. Part of an overall plan.
全体的な計画の一部。
Part of an overall plan. Part of an overall plan.
Tight. Tight jeans.
きついジーンズ。
Tight jeans. Tight jeans.
Prime. The prime cause.
主要な原因。
The prime cause. The prime cause.
Genuine. Genuine interest in science.
科学に対する真の関心。
Genuine interest in science. Genuine interest in science.
Modest. A modest dress.
控えめな服装。
A modest dress. A modest dress.
Intimate. An intimate relationship.
親密な関係。
An intimate relationship. An intimate relationship.
Minimum. Minimum effort.
最小の努力。
Minimum effort. Minimum effort.
Sophisticated. Sophisticated computer technology.
高度なコンピューター技術。
Sophisticated computer technology. Sophisticated computer technology.
Ladder. I have a dog and a cat. The ladder is bigger.
犬と猫を飼っているが、後者の方が大きい。
I have a dog and a cat. The ladder is bigger. I have a dog and a cat. The ladder is bigger.
Bitter. A bitter experience.
苦い経験。
A bitter experience. A bitter experience.
Peculiar. Expressions peculiar to English.
英語特有の表現。
Expressions peculiar to English. Expressions peculiar to English.
Passive. A passive attitude.
消極的な態度。
A passive attitude. A passive attitude.
Ethnic. Different ethnic groups.
異なる民族集団。
Different ethnic groups. Different ethnic groups.
Noble. A person of noble birth.
高貴な生まれの人。
A person of noble birth. A person of noble birth.
Vain. Make a vain effort.
無駄な努力をする。
Make a vain effort. Make a vain effort.
Innocent. Kill innocent people.
罪のない人々を殺す。
Kill innocent people. Kill innocent people.
Underline. The underlying cause.
根本的な原因。
The underlying cause. The underlying cause.
Alien. An alien culture.
異質な文化。
An alien culture. An alien culture.
Relevant. Be relevant to the question.
その問題に関係がある。
Be relevant to the question. Be relevant to the question.
Inclined. I'm inclined to believe him.
彼の言葉を信じたい気がする。
I'm inclined to believe him. I'm inclined to believe him.
Awkward. An awkward silence.
気まずい沈黙。
An awkward silence. An awkward silence.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant idea.
それは素晴らしいアイディアだ。
That's a brilliant idea. That's a brilliant idea.
Desperate. A desperate attempt.
必死の試み。
A desperate attempt. A desperate attempt.
Refreshing. A refreshing drink.
爽やかな飲み物。
A refreshing drink. A refreshing drink.
Miserable. A miserable life.
惨めな生活。
A miserable life. A miserable life.
Substantial. A substantial number of people.
多くの人々。
A substantial number of people. A substantial number of people.
Consistent. Be consistent with the theory.
理論と一致する。
Be consistent with the theory. Be consistent with the theory.
Plain. The book is written in plain English.
その本は平易な英語で書かれている。
The book is written in plain English. The book is written in plain English.
Vivid. Have vivid memories.
鮮やかな思い出がある。
Have vivid memories. Have vivid memories.
Thrilled. I'm thrilled to hear your voice.
君の声が聞けてとても嬉しい。
I'm thrilled to hear your voice. I'm thrilled to hear your voice.
Inner. Her inner self.
彼女の内なる自分。
Her inner self. Her inner self.
Fond. She is very fond of reading.
彼女は読書が大好きだ。
She is very fond of reading. She is very fond of reading.
Precisely. Precisely at noon.
ちょうど正午に。
Precisely at noon. Precisely at noon.
Meanwhile. She was cooking. Meanwhile, I was drinking.
彼女は料理をしていた。その間、私は酒を飲んでいた。
She was cooking. Meanwhile, I was drinking. She was cooking. Meanwhile, I was drinking.
Altogether. Disappear altogether.
完全に消滅する。
Disappear altogether. Disappear altogether.
Lately. Have you seen him lately?
最近彼に会いましたか？
Have you seen him lately? Have you seen him lately?
Barely. Barely survive the war.
かろうじて戦争を生き延びる。
Barely survive the war. Barely survive the war.
Scarcely. I could scarcely believe it.
ほとんど信じられなかった。
I could scarcely believe it. I could scarcely believe it.
Accordingly. You're an adult, so act accordingly.
君は大人なのだから、それ相応に行動しなさい。
You're an adult, so act accordingly. You're an adult, so act accordingly.
Deliberately. Deliberately ignore him.
彼をわざと無視する。
Deliberately ignore him. Deliberately ignore him.
Beneath. Beneath the surface of the water.
水面下で。
Beneath the surface of the water. Beneath the surface of the water.
Lonely. Feel lonely in the crowd.
人混みで孤独だと感じる。
Feel lonely in the crowd. Feel lonely in the crowd.
Precious. Precious jewels.
貴重な宝石。
Precious jewels. Precious jewels.
Minor. A minor problem.
小さい問題。
A minor problem. A minor problem.
Isolated. Be isolated from the world.
世界から孤立している。
Be isolated from the world. Be isolated from the world.
Generous. A generous offer.
気前の良い申し出。
A generous offer. A generous offer.
Tropical. Tropical rainforests.
熱帯雨林。
Tropical rainforests. Tropical rainforests.
Reluctant. Be reluctant to talk about the past.
過去について話したがらない。
Be reluctant to talk about the past. Be reluctant to talk about the past.
Vague. A vague feeling of uneasiness.
漠然とした不安感。
A vague feeling of uneasiness. A vague feeling of uneasiness.
Principal. The principal cities of Europe.
ヨーロッパの主要な都市。
The principal cities of Europe. The principal cities of Europe.
Numerous. Numerous species of birds.
たくさんの種の鳥。
Numerous species of birds. Numerous species of birds.
Rural. Move to a small rural town.
小さな田舎の町に引っ越す。
Move to a small rural town. Move to a small rural town.
Temporary. Temporary loss of memory.
一時的な記憶喪失。
Temporary loss of memory. Temporary loss of memory.
Artificial. Artificial intelligence.
人工知能。
Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence.
Visible. Make visible progress.
目に見える進歩を遂げる。
Make visible progress. Make visible progress.
Raw. Eat raw meat.
生の肉を食べる。
Eat raw meat. Eat raw meat.
Remote. Live in a remote village.
偏僻な村に住む。
Live in a remote village. Live in a remote village.
Urgent. Need urgent action.
緊急の行動を必要とする。
Need urgent action. Need urgent action.
Silly. Tell silly jokes.
バカな冗談を言う。
Tell silly jokes. Tell silly jokes.
Striking. A striking contrast.
著しい対象。
A striking contrast. A striking contrast.
Adequate. Provide adequate food.
十分な食料を供給する。
Provide adequate food. Provide adequate food.
Extraordinary. A man of extraordinary talent.
並外れた才能の持ち主。
A man of extraordinary talent. A man of extraordinary talent.
Odd. The odd couple.
おかしな二人。
The odd couple. The odd couple.
Abstract. An abstract concept.
抽象的な概念。
An abstract concept. An abstract concept.
Mutual. Mutual understanding.
相互の理解。
Mutual understanding. Mutual understanding.
Excessive. Excessive use of alcohol.
過度のアルコール摂取。
Excessive use of alcohol. Excessive use of alcohol.
Ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself.
自分が恥ずかしい。
I'm ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of myself.
Tremendous. A tremendous amount of energy.
とてつもない量のエネルギー。
A tremendous amount of energy. A tremendous amount of energy.
Inevitable. Death is inevitable.
死は避けられない。
Death is inevitable. Death is inevitable.
Pure. Pure gold.
純金。
Pure gold. Pure gold.
Stable. A stable condition.
安定した状態。
A stable condition. A stable condition.
Indifferent. Be indifferent to politics.
政治に無関心だ。
Be indifferent to politics. Be indifferent to politics.
Aggressive. Children's aggressive behavior.
子供の攻撃的な行動。
Children's aggressive behavior. Children's aggressive behavior.
Ultimate. The ultimate goal.
究極の目標。
The ultimate goal. The ultimate goal.
Shy. A quiet, shy girl.
静かで内気な女の子。
A quiet, shy girl. A quiet, shy girl.
Solar. Solar energy.
太陽エネルギー。
Solar energy. Solar energy.
Profound. A profound meaning.
深い意味。
A profound meaning. A profound meaning.
Subtle. A subtle difference.
微妙な違い。
A subtle difference. A subtle difference.
Conservative. The Conservative Party.
保守党。
The Conservative Party. The Conservative Party.
Brave. A brave young soldier.
勇敢な若い兵士。
A brave young soldier. A brave young soldier.
Intense. Feel intense pressure.
強烈なプレッシャーを感じる。
Feel intense pressure. Feel intense pressure.
Fantastic. A fantastic experience.
素晴らしい経験。
A fantastic experience. A fantastic experience.
Acid. Acid rain.
酸性雨。
Acid rain. Acid rain.
Cruel. Cruel treatment of animals.
動物に対する残酷な仕打ち。
Cruel treatment of animals. Cruel treatment of animals.
Rational. Rational thought.
理性的な思考。
Rational thought. Rational thought.
Initial. The initial stages of development.
発達の最初の段階。
The initial stages of development. The initial stages of development.
Rigid. Rigid rules.
厳格な規則。
Rigid rules. Rigid rules.
Linguistic. The linguistic ability of children.
子供の言語能力。
The linguistic ability of children. The linguistic ability of children.
Crucial. Play a crucial role.
重大な役割を果たす。
Play a crucial role. Play a crucial role.
Verbal. Verbal communication.
言葉によるコミュニケーション。
Verbal communication. Verbal communication.
Optimistic. An optimistic view of the future.
将来に関する楽観的な見方。
An optimistic view of the future. An optimistic view of the future.
Flexible. Have a flexible mind.
柔軟な頭を持っている。
Have a flexible mind. Have a flexible mind.
Grateful. I'm grateful for your help.
君の助けに感謝している。
I'm grateful for your help. I'm grateful for your help.
Lively. A lively conversation.
生き生きとした会話。
A lively conversation. A lively conversation.
Overwhelming. An overwhelming majority.
圧倒的な多数。
An overwhelming majority. An overwhelming majority.
Abundant. An abundant supply of food.
豊富な食料供給。
An abundant supply of food. An abundant supply of food.
Selfish. A selfish attitude.
利己的な態度。
A selfish attitude. A selfish attitude.
Ugly. An ugly duckling.
醜いアヒルの子。
An ugly duckling. An ugly duckling.
Racial. Racial differences.
人種の違い。
Racial differences. Racial differences.
Prominent. A prominent scientist.
有名な科学者。
A prominent scientist. A prominent scientist.
Controversial. A controversial social issue.
物議を呼ぶ社会問題。
A controversial social issue. A controversial social issue.
Federal. The federal government.
連邦政府。
The federal government. The federal government.
Ridiculous. A ridiculous error.
馬鹿げた間違い。
A ridiculous error. A ridiculous error.
Imaginary. An imaginary country.
架空の国。
An imaginary country. An imaginary country. Imaginative. An imaginative writer.
想像力豊かな作家。
An imaginative writer. An imaginative writer. Imaginable. Every trouble imaginable.
想像しうるあらゆる困難。
Every trouble imaginable. Every trouble imaginable.
Harsh. The harsh realities of life.
厳しい人生の現実。
The harsh realities of life. The harsh realities of life.
Random. A random choice.
無作為な選択。
A random choice. A random choice.
Adolescent. Adolescent boys and girls.
思春期の少年少女。
Adolescent boys and girls. Adolescent boys and girls.
Up to date. Up to date fashions.
最新の流行。
Up to date fashions. Up to date fashions.
Liberal. Liberal politics.
自由主義の政治。
Liberal politics. Liberal politics.
Prior. The period prior to the war.
戦争より前の時代。
The period prior to the war. The period prior to the war.
Moderate. Do moderate exercise.
適度な運動をする。
Do moderate exercise. Do moderate exercise.
Fluent. Speak fluent French.
流暢なフランス語を話す。
Speak fluent French. Speak fluent French.
Elaborate. An elaborate plan of escape.
手の込んだ脱走計画。
An elaborate plan of escape. An elaborate plan of escape.
Incredible. An incredible story.
信じられない話。
An incredible story. An incredible story.
Radical. Radical changes.
根本的な変化。
Radical changes. Radical changes.
Manual. Manual work.
手を使う仕事。
Manual work. Manual work.
Deaf. Sign language for deaf people.
耳が聞こえない人のための手話。
Sign language for deaf people. Sign language for deaf people.
Medieval. A medieval castle.
中世の城。
A medieval castle. A medieval castle.
Ecological. Protect the ecological system.
生態系を保護する。
Protect the ecological system. Protect the ecological system.
Mobile. A mobile society.
流動的な社会。
A mobile society. A mobile society.
Ignorant. Be ignorant of the fact.
その事実を知らない。
Be ignorant of the fact. Be ignorant of the fact.
Immune. The body's immune system.
人体の免疫機構。
The body's immune system. The body's immune system.
Definitely. I will definitely not marry you.
絶対あなたとは結婚しない。
I will definitely not marry you. I will definitely not marry you.
Virtually. Virtually every woman.
ほとんどすべての女性。
Virtually every woman. Virtually every woman.
Approximately. Approximately 10,000 years ago.
およそ1万年前。
Approximately 10,000 years ago. Approximately 10,000 years ago.
Instantly. Die instantly.
即死する。
Die instantly. Die instantly.
Literally. There's literally nothing there.
そこには文字通り何もなかった。
There's literally nothing there. There's literally nothing there. Literal. The literal meaning of the word.
その後の文字通りの意味。
The literal meaning of the word. The literal meaning of the word. Literary. Literary history.
文学の歴史。
Literary history. Literary history. Literate. Literate people in India.
読み書きのできるインド人。
Literate people in India. Literate people in India.
Seemingly. A seemingly impossible task.
一見不可能な仕事。
A seemingly impossible task. A seemingly impossible task.
Regardless. Regardless of age.
年齢に関係なく。
Regardless of age. Regardless of age.
Thoroughly. Thoroughly enjoy the party.
パーティーを徹底的に楽しむ。
Thoroughly enjoy the party. Thoroughly enjoy the party.
Afterwards. Soon afterwards, he left.
その後すぐ彼は去った。
Soon afterwards, he left. Soon afterwards, he left.